Welcome to Stop, Drop, and Review. Today we will be talking about V for Vendetta. Okay, so the whole overarching theme.
You have essentially a neo-Nazi party fascism called the North Fire Party, and then you have the character V who displays themes of anarchy and revolution, and his whole goal to overthrow them.
Right.
That's essentially the film in a nutshell.
Indeed. So we have V, who plays the, like you said, the
Anarchist.
the anarchist, the one that goes against
The
power.
the North Fire Party.
Yes.
The opening of the film involves them talking about the gunpowder plot with Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
But the very first scene you see in the, distant future, because this film's set in the distant future, is the mask.
True.
And I feel from that point on you realize the mask this whole way through is very important. From the moment he puts it on, he becomes V.
Yeah.
And he never takes it off. I mean, he does take it off once, but you never see the man.
You never see his face, right?
You never see the man behind the mask. And
Go ahead.
I feel that's very important, the idea that did it matter what he was doing, or did people associate his actions with the mask, and it was the mask that was everything?
Mm-hmm. So that's what I assimilate with V, is that since there was no actual face to reconcile who V was.
Anyone could be V.
Anyone can be
Hence
V.
why at the end, after Parliament explodes, spoiler alert, and Finch is standing there with Evie on the roof, and he asked her who V was, and she goes, "He was my brother, he was my father, he was all of us."
Yes.
Because this isn't in the film, but if you read the comic, which is really good, how it ends is she puts on the mask, rescues someone, and announces to London that she is V, and the cycle starts all over again with someone new.
Okay.
So in both the comic and the movie, the idea that anyone could be V and it doesn't matter who's behind the mask, it's the mask as a symbol, and that's what people look to.
Right, and if you look at today, the whole V for Vendetta has turned into what I think it's called Anonymous.
Yeah, they use that.
They use that mask, and it's the whole sense of using the mask as a symbol of, I guess, would you call freedom? Would you call it
freedom? Maybe just the idea that this is what I'm against. This is who I am. I'm going to use this mask as a symbol to represent that I'm against the powers that be. At the end, again, back to the whole idea that V could be anyone, that you see everyone after they're all standing watching Parliament blow up as they take off the masks.
They all take off the masks.
But there are people who died in the film, like the girl. Yeah, that girl who died, Stephen Fry's character, forget his name, the one who's a homosexual and had the Quran. He dies pretty, but yet they're still.
Yeah.
And even like the party members, they're there taking off the mask, which I found very interesting. That in the end, it didn't matter who side you were on. In the end, everyone came behind and understood this symbol.
Exactly. Now, in terms of grouping, we can talk about there was a large amount of groups in the in the movie. We had two main groups basically. We had the people that were with the party and those who were against.
I feel there weren't a lot against the party, that you don't really see much of that. I really think you hear about it a little bit in flashbacks about when the virus is first released, but mainly it's just V. It seems he's this one-man crusade.
Well, I think there's there's an underground.
Yeah,
there are people. Yeah, there are.
But
people.
they're not really organized or anything. But
Right.
there are people, and even some of the party members, like the head of the. His name is Finch. He's the head of the investigation, not the secret police, just like investigating. He's the one investigating V's first attack.
Yeah.
It's very clear that he's not sure what side he should be on.
Yeah.
That like when he meets what he thinks is an old man, and it's actually V.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, but the whole idea that he was told basically to stop looking into this Lark Hill detention center. But he kept going because part of his mind thought, what's going on here? Something wrong. What he uncovers, which is why I think he lets Evie at the end pull the lever that sends the
train
to explode, to blow up Parliament. Again, spoiler alert.
Now there was V and Eve. There was kind of the underground, the people that had the Koran or had stuff that they weren't supposed to have.
Yeah, they were against the government and whatnot.
There was the general population that was just under the thumb
And just kind of living in fear, which is a big part of this, that they all lived in fear, and it just took, but you could tell that it didn't take a lot for them to push them over, that they were tired of it, and they just needed...
They needed someone strong and figure.
They needed a spark to...
Yeah.
Because, like that whole montage when people are starting to wear the mask and vandalize things, and then that secret police guy kills that girl, and then he is in turn killed by an angry mob.
Yeah.
They quickly lose control of the situation.
Yeah, and that can be another part. The violence of this movie was, in a sense, patriotic, of trying to liberate, trying to get freedom. Because anytime there was a lot of violence with a large group of people with the mob, it was because one of the secret police who was who was under the rule of what's his name?
Creedy, Mr. Creedy.
Mr. Creedy. He had the black with the cross on it, and he was like, hey, you can't touch me.
And they didn't care.
They didn't care.
They reached a point where
enough was enough.
Yeah, and I feel most people, while this North Fire Party, those illusions that the rest of the world has gone to shit, like they mention
America needing
there's a second civil war. But I just feel that at the time when this party came to power, the North Fire, people thought, they'll bring stability, and then they released that virus. And but what I love about this, you never see his.
You never know who the actual actor is. The actual
faces, but that was the important part. It didn't matter. It comes back to the whole. But also, he was kind of, I feel in a way, hiding behind the mask. Like, yeah, he uses a symbol, but I feel, personally, I could be completely wrong, that I feel he was partially trying to hide who he really was.
Yeah, I could see that.
That he knew everyone just needed a symbol. They didn't care who
it was.
They didn't care anything about him.
I feel like he was trying to find a way to grab a group of people and unite them with one symbol, or unite them with one common goal. And if he would have shown himself as who he was, they would have assimilated with what his background is, where he came from.
Yeah, but as long as I had the symbol to associate with, it didn't matter where he came from.
Exactly.
So that was our review for V for Vendetta. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.